Like the way your team is playing at this time of the year?
Yeah, I mean, they've been pretty consistent. That was a good environment Tuesday. They played a team like Louisville. In between SEC games has certainly helped sharpen the knife, and we handled the environment well. And we certainly got some good pitching against a very good team too. So, yeah, it's a good win for us, and they move forward real quickly because you know what's in front of you.
Coach, with JJ breaking Pedro's record, are there any similarities between the way they hit, or are they just totally different?
They're both left-handed. Yeah, I would say they're different hitters, and both unique. Pedro was one of those kids that was very strong. His power was unlimited. He had as much power as anyone we've ever had in the program. JJ, I felt like was hit first. When he first got in here, he could center the ball, but through time he's learned timing and more plate awareness, and certainly has developed some strength too. But I just wouldn't say that the home runs have come from strength. I would say they're more about getting a good count, staying with a good approach, and being able to not think about the home run. You know, really stay in the middle of the field. So we've talked about JJ plenty in terms of his maturity, and I think that's where it starts and ends.
Kumar being a freshman, how is he? He seems to be settling down here, at least as the season's picking up. What are you noticing? Is it maybe just the maturation that comes with getting toward the end of his first year?
Yeah, I think a first year for anyone in this program or in this conference is very difficult. But yet at the same time, when spending time around him during the fall, it was you could see how he was a quick adapter and could adapt to the style of which the program, how we went about things. His presence is large in so many different ways. He's got a neat personality, but at the same time, he's like a sponge. He picks up everything, and he's on to everything. You know, if we're in the classroom, he's really paying attention. If Coach Brown's talking to him, he's paying attention, and then he has a professional way about him. So any type of success he has, he takes care of it well, because again, like a guy like JJ and so many of these older kids who really are as mature players as we've had from a standpoint, just from a communicative standpoint, handling business, handling academics, socially. Kumar fits in that range of kid. He's very mature for just a young person.
At this point, you feel he's beyond just being a freshman at this point in his career, at this point in the season?
For him, yeah, I think I don't look at him and say that's a freshman anymore, and truly they're not. You know, I think once they get by the preliminary stages of academics in the fall, and once they get through a certain cluster of time in the SEC, I think they've moved beyond that. They no longer look at themselves, and they don't need to, because he's not that person. He was thrown into a situation early as a starter, and he's adapted very well mentally with it. And I'm happy for the success he's had up to this point, but he also understands it's just one step at a time, and that's just a step of growth that he needs to continue growing.
That attitude maybe come from helped by the fact that his dad is a coach, former player himself, probably doesn't hurt.
I think anytime you're a son of a coach and you enjoy what your dad is doing, you're going to spend more time around that environment, and because you do, you have a chance to develop social skills, and you have a chance to see things that other kids can't get to. And I think he's seen that certainly in the football area, but also his parents, you can tell, have always set a pretty firm standard for him. Mom too, mom and dad he's a nice blend of them both in so many different ways. But yet this is a young man who's very serious about what he's doing in every way, everything, baseball, academics, and his social behaviors.
And he just doesn't have the fastball either. It seems like he's at least got one more pitch right now.
Yeah, he's more than a fastball. I think that was the thing. It wasn't a surprise to me, but I think that's the thing you saw quickly, is this just isn't a young man that tries to overpower people. He's got a skill set that pitching is a big part of that skill set. He's got multiple pitches and he can land them. And he's very consistent with it too. He's not a kid who throws a lot of balls. He's a strike thrower.
Do you see the impact of the seniors this year as potentially inspiring some guys who get drafted to stick around moving forward?
I don't know about that, but their impact is tremendous in so many different ways. There's such a consistency among them all. If I talked about one, those same attributes could be applied to the next one. It's amazing how similar they are to one another in terms of how they've adapted to this program, the personal struggles that they've gone through inside this program with losing a teammate, how they've chosen to finish their time here. The word team gets thrown around so many times, but these guys are just so real with it in terms of how they feel about it. It has deep meaning to them, well beyond their own personal goals. And I think that's the thing, that they shove their personal goals aside. And even the guys that don't have playing roles all the time, you would think they're trying to make the team every single day, the way they act. They're such a good model for not only for our staff, but for younger guys. And I've really honed in on those younger guys. I said, you need to really pay attention to what they're doing, because your education extends itself well beyond a classroom across the street. It extends itself in that locker room, and to watch the behaviors of those kids is very special. Now, how other kids feel about that, I'm not sure.
On Kumar's secondary pitches, how much has that been developed in season, or he came with that, or how much growth have you seen in that way?
I've seen a lot of growth with it, but I don't know if we want to take full responsibility for it. I think Brownie's done an outstanding job of adapting to him as a, and I say adapting, the ability for a coach to adapt to a player is just as important as it is for that player to adapt to a coach in the program. And I think they're one and alike, and I think they've done a nice job together. In saying that, he's developed his pitches here a great deal, in my opinion. Just from a breaking ball standpoint, the activity of it, the shape of it, his ability to throw it consistently for a non-strike that gets an offer, the decelerated changeup, that's been a good pitch for him. But I just think the PFP skills, the pitcher's fielding skills, the pickoffs, the ancillary skills that a pitcher needs to acquire in order to develop, he's done a nice job of learning them and practicing them. And it makes him whole. It makes him whole, in my opinion. He's not one of those kids that, as I told Teresa, isn't armed with just one pitch. He can do a lot of different things. And he competes. That's number one.
Tim, what have you seen about Missouri?
I think this is our toughest challenge. With all respect to everyone we've played, I just think these challenges seem to get steeper and steeper. It's like now we're skiing down the diamonds. And I say that because we've been pretty consistent, and I think when your consistency as a team happens, you certainly bring up the focus of the opponent. Their pitching is outstanding. I mean, they're second in the league right now, but we've seen them before. Sycamore, I know he pitched on Saturday, but he's been very good, and they have a host of lefties, so the matchup in a lot of ways, I'm not going to say who it favors, but it's a lot of lefties against our lefties. And they're fast. I think it was good that we could play Louisville right before we played Missouri, because you got Louisville who stole 88 bases, these guys stole 100. And they steal them with kids that are 6'4", 220 pounds. So it's like a football team in some respects. Misner's a heck of a player. Their catcher McDaniel's a heck of a player. Steve's done a really nice job with his team. I think a lot of him personally, but he's done a really nice job with his team in holding it together. And what's in some cases becomes very tough, because they've had to go through a little bit of struggle in terms of whether they're going to get to a regional or not. But this is a regional team. It's a very good team.
Do you feel that your left-handed hitters have hit left-handed pitching well?
They've handled it. They've handled themselves. I think to some it doesn't matter. You ask several of them, and they just don't flinch. It doesn't really. The ball's coming out of a pitcher's hand, and whether it's here or here, to them it's coming from the mound. So I think for them, they really haven't flinched on it. It doesn't matter. And I think sometimes we make more of it than it is, and you can do that in baseball.
Well, would you have expected maybe at the beginning of the season to be doing more platooning at this point than you are right now?
That's a good question. I think had everyone stayed healthy, we might have been, but we've been dinged up at times, like everyone is, and I never make excuse for that. But because of that, we've kind of relied on the lineup, and whoever's healthy now, and then when someone's been hurt, we said next man up, let's go. It's what you trained for. So we haven't lost our balance because of the abilities of other guys to step up and do a nice job and stay consistent themselves.
For Ethan Smith, for him to be told he can't go with the windup anymore, do you guys work on a new delivery for him with Brownie, or he just goes with what he used in Columbia?
Yeah, not a new delivery, but I just think he just had to take out the one extra pump. That was a leg pump that he did a great job of settling himself down. You know, when an umpire speaks to you before you're outing in an 8-8 game, I'm thinking, holy cow, this is bad timing. This is it right here, and he adjusted well. It kind of made him mad. But some people can turn that anger into things that you don't want to see. But he didn't. He threw a lot of strikes. But I think we got back here and worked on it right away. Ethan's a very talented kid. We're lucky to have him.
So he said something in the inning after he had gotten the last out, because he was warming up out of the windup then?
Yeah, before he got on the mound.
Okay.
He had seen it in a highlight film.
Okay.
He was one of the examples of the double pump with a leg. So it was just kind of awkward communication, which is it's all turned out fine. But you know, had it not, then I might feel differently right now. So, but it's all